Generating traffic and sales can be a challenge for online merchants. But selling on the Walmart Marketplace puts your products in front of millions of customers who shop on Walmart.com. And right now, sellers who join Walmart Marketplace can save up to 50% on referral and fulfillment fees for the first 90 days. So get started today. Head over to marketplace.walmart.com/savings. That's marketplace.walmart.com/savings.
Welcome to E-Commerce Conversations, a podcast by Practical E-Commerce.
What is going on, Internet? Eric Bandholz back again with another E-Commerce Conversations. I hope all is well on the other side of the Internet. On the other side of the table from me, Allison.
Hey, what's going on?
What's up?
Happy to be here.
Yeah.
You know, beautiful Austin.
Beautiful Austin. So sunny, so hot. It's actually raining out. I wanted to tell you a little secret about this show. Every single episode I recorded, I've had a Shark Tank guest on.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Did you know?
That's a lot of Shark Tank people.
It is. Well, I mean, just because it's me and I'm on the show.
It's something you're super proud of, right?
Yeah. You were on Shark Tank.
I was. Yeah, I was on Shark Tank back in 2018. Ended up getting a deal, so that's amazing.
Well, I guess before we start talking about that, we should say who you're with.
Oh, Who am I?
Yeah, you're just Allison.
Hi, I'm Allison. No, yeah. So my name's Allison, and I'm the founder and chief of brand at Poppi. And Poppi is a prebiotic soda. So it's great for gut health, glowing skin, boosting your immunity. But what's really important and what's great about our product is it tastes good. And you basically can just look at it like a soda replacement.
There you go. And you were on Shark Tank.
It was.
A couple years ago, right? What year was it?
Back 2018. I mean, that feels like forever ago. Come a long way since then.
Yeah. You were under a different name too.
Yeah. So back a few years ago, I started the company because I didn't feel very good. So I had a ton of different health issues. My stomach always hurt. And it was back before people talked about like gut health trends or that was cool of like what you put in your body can heal you. You know, I was just like kind of started Googling my symptoms, and I read online drinking apple cider vinegar could reset and detox your body. And so I kind of just was like, hey, screw it up. I'm going to give it a try. Started drinking it literally every single day. Felt amazing, but hated the taste of straight apple cider vinegar. Have you ever taken a shot of apple cider vinegar before?
I think my in-law uncle, who's a Farmer John, I think he might have given me a shot when I was up in Iowa.
Yeah, so you're like, it's good for you, it doesn't taste good, right?
I think he would mix honey in with it or something like that, because honey is a miracle cure too.
I would do that. I would do the honey. It's like the master cleanse. You do honey and the lemon and the water. And I was like, okay, this is great, but it's not sustainable. I don't foresee myself being able to do this year over year. So I went to my kitchen, created the first version of Poppi. At the time, it was called Mother Beverage. And all of a sudden, I had friends and family, and everybody was like really excited and wanting to try it. And I took it to the local farmers market at that time. We were in Dallas. And just a few weeks in, we started selling out week after week after week. And the Whole Foods buyer came by our booth, and she's like, look, I'm here with my mom. I never do this, but here's my card. You guys actually we need this product in Whole Foods. I looked at my husband, who is the other founder, and he was like, this is kind of crazy. We've only doing this for a little bit. We had just bought a house. I was 3 months pregnant with our first kid. And he's like, you want to quit your job? You want to do this crazy vinegar drink and go all in? I was like, yep, let's do it. And so soon after that, of course, we needed funding. And so that's kind of where the Shark Tank piece of it came on. And we decided to go on the show.
Yeah, you're on the show. You got a deal. Spoiler. I
know. Spoiler alert. But I mean, it was kind of crazy because I think a lot of brands either they go online and apply. Like we didn't know any better. So we went to an open casting call and stood in line for like 8 hours and pitched our little hearts out, not knowing any better or worse. But I guess, come to find out later, that's like a pretty rare way to get on the show. I think it was like where we were to get on to actually get a deal was like 0.002% of people like that happen. So, it's definitely a crazy, not normal situation, but super excited that we went for it.
Yeah. And then I think you got lucky too, because the shark you did a deal with was like a guest shark in the beverage space, right?
Yeah. So it's funny, fast forward from where we're starting to get on the show. I was actually pregnant with our second kid, and I ended up being about 9 months pregnant. And I kept being like, you guys, like, you said I'm on the show. We got to get me out to filming. I'm 9 months pregnant. Like, this baby could come at any moment here. They're like, well, yeah, okay. And they kept pushing the schedule around. Well, little did we know is because they want you to get a deal on the show. They want it to be good TV. It's like they want you to be successful. So they were trying to match us up with Bro Hanoza, who's the shark that we ended up getting a deal with. And he's a beverage shark. So he's behind some amazing brands like Bai and Vitamin Water, Pop Chips, some like really, really big brands that were successful in the beverage space. And so obviously we went on. He was the last one to go out, but he said this from the second he tried our product, he knew he was going to give us a deal. We had no idea at the time because he
kept his chips close to the table or whatever.
It's so hard. You just like, it's so intense in there, as you know, that, I think we paused for maybe 2 seconds, but we're like, deal. So we didn't negotiate.
Well, mine wasn't in a tent. It was in a studio.
No, ours was in a studio.
Oh, I thought you said it was intense.
No, the first, when you're first trying out at it, you're like intense for the open casting call.
Yeah. No, I'm just messing with
you. Live studio audits in a tent.
Yeah, I mean, the applause that I get, that we hear right now, is pretty par for the course with my jokes. I want to talk about it. So you guys have blown up. I can't imagine a harder business to do. Well, I can imagine it's very difficult to ship heavy water as a D2C play. Mm-hmm. Is D2C a pretty big chunk, or is it mostly through, the channels?
Yeah. So when we finally got that deal, we had a great product, but we didn't have a brand. And so we decided to take 8 months off and really go through a full rebrand. So before it was a different name, we named it Poppi. We decided to go with colorful cans. We found out who we were as a company, who was our consumer, what is the tone of voice? And we really spent time and did a deep dive into the brand and who Poppi was before we launched in, spoiler alert again, March of 2020, right when COVID started. So we had to pivot really quick to all online because we had gotten national rollouts in Whole Foods and Sprouts, but they were like, whoa, we have to get toilet paper on the shelf, and they kept pushing our launch date. And so we were like, okay, we're going to go all in on Amazon. And from day one, we decided to go all in on Amazon and do zero on our personal website. And it's been widely successful for us.
Yeah. How does that model work? Like, are you shipping pallets of cans to Amazon, fulfilled by Amazon, or like is there a strategy to kind of like get samples out to people and then they reorder through you?
No, so we repack it into like these boxes and we ship those into Amazon and then they fulfill for us. So it's fulfilled by Amazon.
So are they
take
like 6 packs or 12 packs?
12 packs. We sell it by 12 packs. And at the time, you're thinking, oh my gosh, $29 for 12 cans of soda. Seems a little expensive, but people want it, right? At the end of the day, if we're a health product, people want to drink it every day and they want to buy it in bulk. We're shelf stable. It was March 2020. Everyone's worried about their health and wellness at the time, boosting your immunity, apple cider vinegar. It's just kind of like a right place, right time. And then on top of it, we had previously done an update on Shark Tank with the new brand. We had filmed it in December of 2019, right before COVID hit. And our episode aired in April. So of 2020. So it was 1 month after we launched. And how often is everybody sitting at home on a Friday night by April of 2020, right? Yeah. So our website broke. Everything just like was so crazy. Our Amazon sales went from $9,000 the day we launched in March to over $150,000 just 1 month later. Well above 300 3 months later, and just continued to rise. We're way north of over $1 million a month just on Amazon. So it's been really wild ride just to see how that community has really embraced us, this like digital first, all online. And it's really shaped the way we do most of our paid and the way we think at the company.
What did your team look like in April of 2020? Is it just you and your husband still? And
I think we had 4 of us at that point. So it was me and my husband. We had a graphic designer, and then we had just hired on like chief of sales. Yeah, it's small.
Yeah. So, I mean, how are you getting product in there? How are you like fulfilling all that? Like, I can't imagine scaling that quickly. Like, did you have to raise more money?
I mean, we were out of stock. Yeah, we very soon had to raise more money. I feel like we've just been basically raising money for like 3 years at this point. Like it's like never ending with the amount of growth we've seen. I mean, we're one of the fastest growing beverages in the nation, and it's always kind of been that way. So I finally feel like now, like 2.5 years later, we have it, but it's kind of been a little bit of a crazy ride to there. A lot of out of stocks, a lot of hustling, a lot of, spending money that's probably a little bit unnecessary, because at the same time, we're scaling really quick. It's COVID. Aluminum is like basically impossible to get, right? We're in cans. So we're dealing with shortage. We're dealing with supply chain issues. Just basically anything you could kind of like throw at us was happening. So now that it's gotten a little bit better, we feel really good about where we're at right now. But looking back, I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I could do it again.
Yeah. Because your team is what? How many people do you have now?
Now we have about 80.
80 people in like 2 years.
Yeah. Wow. Crazy if you really think of that.
Do you feel like, getting that many new people in such a short period of time, do you feel like there's been a loss of culture?
Yeah, that's so valid. I think for me and my husband, I think up until about 50 employees was really where you feel like you have the culture. And then once you kind of grow past that, and there's like people that are working for us, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I've never met them, or there's new faces added to the team every day. It gets a little bit hard, like personally as a founder, but I'm a little bit of a rare breed where I still love to like call people and like get to know them, or I schedule a Zoom. Like we have like a new person today, I have a Zoom later. It's our first day, right? Like I think I try to go a little bit above and beyond to like get to know everybody and like truly see them on a personal level. But it is hard and it's struggling, but it's not a bad thing, to grow and to be successful and for everyone to be in it and feel that like growth with you. So change is hard, but it's not always a bad thing.
We talked a little bit about this before I hit record, but you've got a CMO kind of coming in place. I want you to describe what your pathway within the company looks like. You start off clearly as one of the face of the company, and sit in kind of like a marketing role. Like, how did you decide to divvy up certain tasks that you're doing, and where do you ultimately want to be spending your time as you build this business?
Yeah. And I think as a founder, it's like one of those things that you have your hands in everything. And I holistically understand the business probably better than anyone, right? But it's been hard because we've grown so quick, and it's not healthy to try to just do everything myself. I really do need to surround myself with people that are better than me at a lot of things, right? I've always said, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. And I think that I've brought in people. I used to run our influencer program. The second I brought in someone that is running our influencer and she's killing it, doing better than me, like that makes me happy. It makes me happy to see their growth and what they can do. Same with like our social, same with our marketing. Like I don't have a traditional marketing background, right? I just have like a hustler background basically. But I think is what it's done really good for our brand is I don't have those traditional stigmas of like what we should be doing. I'm just like, screw it, let's figure it out and say yes. And then like, make it happen. It makes us disruptive. It makes us different. It makes things exciting. So I don't want to like lose that. So whoever I'm bringing in, which we did just hire a CMO, I'm super excited. She starts next week. I wanted to be super upfront with that, right? Like I don't need Allison come in and try to make us like this traditional CPG brand where everything's like super, by the book, and we're planning 2 years. Like you still got to be like nimble. And if you find the right people that are in line with like what I want, I think we can be really successful. And I'm excited to kind of let go because to your point, I'm the only one that can be out there and be the voice. I started the company, it's my story of why I did this. And so I think it's important to step back and let others succeed, even though it might be a little bit hard and it's emotional, but it's like good emotion.
Yeah. Do you feel like, because you guys have also brought in a CEO.
Yeah.
Do you feel like a bit of it is riding a rocket ship and it's just kind of going where it's going? Or do you feel like it's driving an F1 car and it's going fast as F? But
right. Like they always say, like building the plane as it's flying.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's a lot different from running a $3 million brand to a 20 million to a 50 to 100, right? Like I've never ran a $100 million company before. So why wouldn't I surround myself with people that have done that before versus figuring it out as we go? Because it does get to that point where, wow, we have something special here. This growth is insane. Like, why would we want to stop this rocket ship? And for me to just want to stay in control or like handle that is probably been one of the most humbling things I've ever gone through, but it's also exciting to see and learn from people that have done it before and understand that it's a team effort versus like a we effort.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah. I mean, like I can't, as someone who's built a business that's grown quite a bit slower, and I would imagine to be less drama. Like I can't imagine just the challenges of doing what you did in such a short period of time. It's got to be like nonstop fires, and you've got kids.
Yep.
And you work with your husband.
Yep. Everyone always like, wow, you're crazy. Your life is just so crazy. But, I think when you have kids, because I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing if I didn't have a greater purpose to do this for their future. So that chaos is super welcome on my end. I absolutely like thrive in chaos and I love it. I get really bored. If my husband and me have a good day off on a Sunday, and we're sitting on the couch, it's like 30 minutes. We're like, okay, now what are we going to do? And we just start doing like projects. Like I just can't sit still. And I think that's just the life of an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I don't know. Are you the same way?
No, I can sit still.
See, there's different types of entrepreneurs out there.
There are those who build like $100 million businesses and those who don't.
No, I don't think, I wouldn't downplay it either. I think it's beautiful when people can just love what they do and get up every day and be proud.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you ever feel like a guilt?
Yeah. I mean, mom guilt is real. Work guilt is real. Like all of that's super real. But I think nowadays you don't have to like choose. Nobody cares anymore, right? Like I have a 7-month-old. I think he'll be like 8 months this week. And I breastfeed on multiple Zooms throughout the day. I could care less. Of course, like I put the camera off. Like I'm a little respectful. Let's be real. But, everyone knows, and it's just like normalizing that. But on top of it, normalizing it within the company. So, other moms or knowing that other women or men with maternity, paternity leave, like all of that stuff's like really important to me because I'm a family person and I wanted to like go all the way down within the culture of the company. But I think times have changed. The CPG world it's been a man's world for a really long time. And there's a lot of really amazing women founders and entrepreneurs coming into the space. So I see it just being such a different world, even in like 10 years. And it's exciting and people are welcoming it. It's like fresh and new.
Yeah, I feel like, from my perspective, the early years, like if I was awake, I was thinking about Beard Brand. And I always, like I had a newborn at the time. That was kind of like a lot of the reasons I needed Beard Brand to exist was to pay for those expenses. And, there's that guilt of like, should I be thinking about the family or thinking about the business? And, they're both kind of like, I wouldn't say they're both children to me, but they're both, pieces of me. Like part of myself is on that. So, as we're celebrating our 10th year. So like time goes on, like not as much brain energy goes into Beard Brand like it used to, but
you're happy.
Yeah, I mean, like happy is like, are we ever truly happy? I guess that's where nirvana is. But
yeah, I just see myself as like super young, and my kids are young. They're only gonna be young for a minute.
Yeah.
So I need to try to find a way to do both, and I feel like I do both well.
So how do you do both well? How do you feel like you're not neglecting one or the other?
I don't know. It's hard because I think a lot of people don't have like what me and my husband have, where we're both grinding as hard as we are, like 80-hour weeks every single week. But I think honestly, this like work from home situation's been nice. I take my lunch in my kitchen while holding my baby. And, I schedule a few times a week my kids out of school at 3 and I try to pick them up. And it's just like scheduling those things, those family things throughout the day that make a big difference. No, I'm not like a stay-at-home mom, which is one of the hardest jobs in the world. But I think that if you just don't let yourself get into that guilt, don't go there because you can always do better. You can always do worse.
Right.
So I don't know. I think it's definitely ups and downs, but I'm a pretty optimistic person. I'm always like really happy, like cup half full type. So I would say it's probably different for a lot of people potentially.
Yeah. I guess I probably hold myself to a standard that maybe is not achievable. You just kind of expect the unexpected. So where are you going? Kind of asked this in the past, like where do you want to spend 100% of your time in the business? If you're working 80 hours a week,
yeah.
How do you make sure those are fun 80 hours?
So I think where excelled. As you know, I've been the creative director, I've ran marketing, I've been the face, I've ran the budget, I've done everything. And what really brings me joy is the creative side of it. And, you know, a few years ago when we first launched, I knew like video was the way of the future. And I think we were one of the earlier brands that got onto TikTok, and we've seen a lot of success there on like the organic and the paid side. So just being able to focus on how do we continue to make video king within Poppi, and investing in, you know, similar to what you guys do, right? I just walking around here, seeing how creative and how amazing like your space is just like really, I like love that. Like that's what gets me going, is like, how can I spend more time doing the creative, the video, the graphics, the, you know, like all of those things, and not so worried about like, you know, our 2 for $4 at Target, or, you know, this dealer loader or something, you know, like the budgets. And like, that's why I want to bring the CMO in, is they can run the marketing department, where then I can really excel at what I do, is being creative and being the visionary, and not stopping being like the brand of Poppi.
Yeah. I want to talk a little bit more about that expected relationship with your CMO, because a CMO, I would imagine they're getting paid a lot of money. It's a big investment. Is there the expectation that, obviously you mentioned this earlier, you're the visionary, but is there kind of an expectation that they bring some of their own vision with how to build the marketing presence? Or are they more of kind of like, I don't know if you've read like, I think it's Traction or Rocket something, where basically there's a integrator and there's a visionary.
Right.
So you clearly fall into the visionary camp. And is the vision for the CMOs, they're kind of like the integrator or the operations side of marketing? Right.
But I also would love, you know, who we're bringing in. They have a lot of experience, 15 plus years. They've done some really cool launches. They've worked international and worked with some really big companies down to small companies. And I think it's crazy to think that I can't be collaborative. And here, like, I'm a very collaborative leader. I love to whiteboard. I love to hear out my team's ideas. So I think like our last 2 campaign taglines came from like our influencer and brand awareness senior manager. And, you know, and it came from us just sitting on a Zoom being like, okay, let's throw out ideas, right? So, you know, I think with being a visionary doesn't also mean that other people can't be creative, because then I think that's where you like stifle creativity within the organization. So, you know, I think 100% I need someone like keeping the wheels on, running the marketing department, being that operational leader, being that like team leader. So it allows me, you need time to be creative, right? And if you're working back-to-back schedules and this and that, you don't have that headspace to like kind of deep dive, mood board, whiteboard. Like you have to have that time to do that. And I think that this will free me up to be able to continue to do what I've done really well so far at the brand. So I see it as like a great partnership, and that I would love to throw ideas at. If she has ideas, like, I don't think it has to be so black and white.
Yeah. I'm curious to hear how your company runs internally. Like, you're mostly remote or all remote, or?
Yeah. You know, since we launched in March of 2020, we never really had opportunity to do a lot in person. I think we had a small office in Dallas. There's like 4 or 5 of us there. You know, we moved down here to Austin to just more talent retention, try to get people to move. So I think we'll end up, we have an office that'll be ready in, you know, March or so of next year. And it's, I think, like 15 people out of the 80, which isn't a ton. Because if you think about within beverage, a lot of our workers, they are salespeople, feet in the street. So I need you to be living in New York. I need you to live in Florida or, you know, North Carolina or wherever it is. And so it's never going to be like everybody would never, ever be in office.
Mm-hmm. What is the, like, do you have daily meetings? How do you maintain getting everyone pointed on the right direction for a remote organization?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of great tools out there, right? With of course, like you got your Zooms, your Slacks, your Asanas, all of those things to kind of keep people, and then just constant communication. And our team, like especially within mine, I think there's only like 6 or 7 of us right now. And so it's not like this crazy amount of people in the marketing department. But then working cross-functional with like the sales and ops is really where it gets a little bit hard, right? I'm used to working with my marketing team. Like that's not a problem. It's like, but how do we have that we mentality that I was talking about earlier versus like marketing's doing this and sales is doing this and ops is doing this and finance is doing this? How do we all kind of come together as a team? That's been a little bit hard with the working remote. So we just brought in a CEO not that long ago, maybe 6 or 7 months ago. And this is really where he excels, is this like we team effort and making sure that we're working cross-functionally and that it's, our budget, not my budget. And that we have like one end goal that we just like all need to be successful no matter what. So easier said than done. We have our hard times and it's, everyone gets busy and you kind of kick the can, I think, sometimes when you're moving this quick, but we try our best.
Like, do you get all 80 people? Do you have like required times they need to be available online or?
No, I mean, I think we'll do like a town hall once a month or something with everybody, but like all those sales reps, our ASMs, RSMs, everybody out in the field, like we need them out in the grocery store. We don't need them like on a computer, which I don't even know if half of them even have a computer, right? They're on their phones. We have iPads and stuff like that. But I think like with senior leadership, it's where we try to get together, once a month or have like some kind of like planning sessions. But with COVID, I mean, we weren't even able to even really get in person and do those planning sessions for a while. So I think we've always had to be a little bit nimble when it comes to that.
Those town hall meetings, are you the one who leads that or?
Yeah, I think that people at the end of the day, they want to hear from me and my husband because we're the founders. And, even bringing in this CEO, like he has no desire to be like the face or anything like that. He truly is operational and brings so much expertise. And so usually it's, me and my husband that run it, depending on the topic. If we're talking about something sales, then probably our sales leader will also run it. But it just depends. I think, it's a beautiful thing, but it is tough. Like I personally, like it was up to me, I would have everyone in office. But nowadays, we're not going to mandate that. That's crazy. And I'd rather have really great talent than people that are subpar just because I want them to live in Austin. And that took me a while to get there because I love being creative and being in person. And, you just don't know what kind of conversation can come when you're in the bathroom washing your hands in the mirror and like joking. Mm-hmm. You miss that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like for people like you and me, there is like this energy, for lack of better words, of just being in person. I know there's certain roles where it makes sense to just like, if you're a coder, make sure you're pointing in the right direction and like just do not interrupt them and let them kind of work through the problems. But even then, they should face problems where it helps to kind of talk it out with people. And I think it's just kind of the trade-offs that you get of like constantly being distracted in the office versus the creativity that comes with that.
Yeah, it's a balance because I do recall when there's just 5 of us before when we were in the office, and there were days that I was like, I got to get some work done. I got to stay home today. So I see the benefit to both of being able to not have that like constant joking. It's like you got to have that heads down time. So, that's why I feel like even like the people are doing like the hybrid, like a few days in, a few days out is like really nice. So then you get that personal connection. And that's how I think the culture can continue to grow within the organization and how you really get to know people on a personal level. Because Zooms are like, you have this thing that you're supposed to talk about for this hour and it doesn't leave time. Like, how are your kids? What'd you do this weekend? Right. You just never have time for that kind of stuff.
I want to go back to your hiring of the CMO. And is that person located here in Austin as well?
No. Yeah. So this is also another thing that'll be interesting. So they're in New York. We have people and just my team. So she's New York. We have Chicago. We have Austin. And we have LA. So we're going to hit all the time zones, which people are always saying like, actually, that's kind of nice because we do a lot of events and a lot of things in LA and New York. So it might be nice to have people on both sides. But then that like timing, right? Like with my team in LA, like it's really like 10 o'clock is the earliest I'll schedule a meeting, but now that's for her is going to be like 11. So I love that I'm in Central. So I kind of get the best of both worlds where I get people that are working before me and after me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I would like for my number 2, I just can't imagine like not being in close proximity to them, like constant Slack calls, I guess. Is that how you're doing it?
Well, we'll find out. This is like uncharted waters starting next week. So, I'm definitely not afraid to pick up the phone, text, Slack, call. Like, I think people nowadays like don't like calling, which I think is like super weird. It's like, how do you not get stuff done if you don't call people? So it's just having that communication and be open. And I think that we just need to learn each other's way we work.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess that's
unknown. I'll have to let you know.
The key to life. Yeah. Well, you'll have to come back on.
Yeah. Hey, anytime.
I want to talk about, we've talked about the past. What is the future? You've already built an amazing company. How far do you want to take it? Is there an exit road, or is it an IPO road, or what do you envision for the long-term future?
If you really think about the soda industry, it hasn't been disrupted in, 70 years or something absolutely ridiculous, right? Since the 20s or whatever, how long that is. When Coke came out and then, I think in the 80s, they had the Diet Coke phrase. I was like, oh my God, Diet Coke. And then you had the Coke Zero and, sugar, like all this stuff, but all of it's been artificial. None of it's been really good. None of it has had benefits, right? So we truly do see ourselves as a disruptive soda for the industry, right? We're really revolutionizing the soda industry. So I don't see us like slowing down anytime soon. I think that we're on a great trajectory over the next 3 years to probably potentially partner with one of those big guys. Because a lot of times is what happens is they don't want to start it themselves because people want that authentic story now. It's like, yeah, Coke could come out with a product like ours, but is it going to connect with the consumer? That stuff's not really working anymore. And so what's great about us partnering with them is they get product that's amazing, has an amazing founder story. It tastes great. It has function. The brand is there. It's beautiful. And what we get is distribution, right? We get the ability to be everywhere really quick. They have crazy contracts with stadiums and, Chick-fil-A and like all these things. Like we would never be able to get into those type of places because their contracts are so ironclad. So it's not always like, our goal is to get purchased and sell out. It's like, how do we get there so we can partner to get Poppi to more people?
Yeah.
So I think that's the ended goal at this moment, but it's unforeseen times, right? Like with the stock market, and it's just an interesting time. And beverage isn't what it used to be back in even like 4 years ago. It's just really changed. So I would never say like IPO's off the table, but I wouldn't say it's like number one goal. That could change in a year. Just there's so many things that Poppi's been through since we started that I would have said we'd never do and we've done. So, I'm not going to hold myself to that.
Well, I can tell you it's fun to watch from my perspective what you've been able to do in such a short period of time. My hat's off to you.
Thank you. I'll take it.
Where can people support you, buy some Poppi, follow you on Twitter, anything like that? TikTok, right?
TikTok, yeah. So it's definitely drinkpoppi.com. We're on Amazon. We're sold nationwide in retailers like Target, Whole Foods, Sprouts, Publix, Kroger, Albertsons, everywhere. It's almost easier to say where we're not now, which is exciting. And yeah, follow us on TikTok and Instagram. We are on Twitter. We're going to start playing this YouTube world that you're in next year. So excited to see where we can push it there.
Yeah, we'll have to have you come back and talk about that.
Thank you so much.
All right, Allison. Hopefully our listeners enjoyed this as much as I did. This has been another e-commerce Conversations. Cheers and keep on growing.